In the tranquil confines of Lexington, South Carolina, Kara Robinson found solace in the familiar embrace of her hometown. But the illusion of safety shattered on that fateful day, June 24, 2002, when a simple act of kindness at a friend's house thrust her into the heart of a harrowing ordeal. As Kara and her friend Heather prepared for a leisurely trip to the lake, the tranquility of the moment was shattered by an unexpected visitor. She was watering the flowers when a man wearing a button-down shirt and a baseball cap approached her. The stranger's preppy facade hid his sinister intentions. Out of nowhere, the man wielded a gun, coercing Kara into his car, where she was forced to crouch inside a large plastic container. In the grip of fear inside the darkness of the container, Kara endured a nightmarish journey. Meanwhile, Heather, oblivious to Kara's plight, frantically searched for her missing friend. A feeling of dread engulfing her as the truth of Kara's disappearance unfolded. For Kara's worried parents, the uncertainty felt overwhelming. Authorities initially viewed Kara's disappearance as typical of runaways, adding to her family's distress as time passed. As Kara grappled with her captor's control, she faced daunting challenges, realizing that cooperation was necessary for survival. Yet, amidst the turmoil, she saw a chance to uncover her captor's identity and seek justice. Kara's captor told her about the rules she needed to follow. She also needed to keep in mind that he had a weapon and that he could end her life anytime. After that, her innocence was repeatedly defiled by the man. With each violation endured, Kara's resolve hardened. Her determination to reclaim her stolen innocence fueled her desire for retribution. In the depths of her suffering, she clung to the fragments of her sense of self. It was like a beacon of defiance against the encroaching darkness. As Kara's ordeal unfolded in the shadows, her loved ones grappled with the agonizing darkness of uncertainty. Amidst challenging circumstances, Kara Robinson demonstrated remarkable resilience, offering hope in the face of adversity.
I did try to have some conversation with him. He had some lizards and some fish and asked him about those. I got him on the topic of he was in the military and found out that he was discharged from the Navy. I definitely placed a high value on my survival. For me, that mental aspect was a little bit different, but it was definitely there. At one point, he said, "We're gonna watch the news and we're gonna see if you're on the news. Let's see if anyone misses you."
Oh my gosh.
And I had been kidnapped 8 hours earlier, so of course I wasn't on the news at that point. He's like, "Well, nobody misses you." Continually he told me that he was going to let me go, and he said, "And then it's your choice what you do." He said, you can go to the police and you can always be the girl who was raped.
Though justice moved slowly, Kara remained steadfast, knowing her captor was bound to make a mistake with each passing hour. Kara Robinson gradually earned the trust of her captor, taking the opportunity to gather information about him. While he prepared dinner, she volunteered to assist in the kitchen, using the opportunity to discreetly examine his personal belongings, including letters and notes on the refrigerator. He engaged Kara in light conversation. Despite his friendly demeanor, Kara remained wary, recognizing his true intentions. Later, the man returned her to the box for a call. Despite her efforts to stay calm, the confinement triggered a panic attack, alarming him. He begrudgingly left the lid open, demanding she stay quiet in exchange for his small act of kindness. Kara overheard him conversing with his wife, a red-headed resident of the same apartment. Earlier, she had seen strands of red hair in the bathroom. Shocked to learn he was married, Kara realized she was being kept as company while his wife was absent. As night approached, the man medicated Kara to prevent escape, securing her to the bed and sleeping beside her. Despite knowing the opportune moment to flee would be when he slept, Kara's strength was sapped by the medication, leaving her too weak and drowsy to move, resigned to sleeping alongside her captor. Similarly to Kara, her parents experienced a sense of helplessness as the day drew to a close. Despite their efforts, the police had yet to recognize Kara's situation as an abduction, leaving her loved ones with nothing to do but hope and pray for her safe return home. Fortunately, Kara awoke first the following morning. With her captor still asleep beside her, Kara slowly and silently worked to free herself from the handcuffs and made her way downstairs, silently navigating her escape. However, faced with a metal accordion door blocking her path, Kara knew the risk of waking her captor, but took her chance. She burst through the doors and fled for her life. Spotting a passing car, she desperately sought help, explaining her situation to the occupants and urging them to take her to the police station, pointing out her captor's residence along the way. Finally, Kara watched as the house where she had been held hostage grew smaller in the rearview mirror. Unbeknownst to her, justice remained elusive. Upon arriving at the Richland County Sheriff's Department, Kara recounted her harrowing ordeal to the sole deputy on duty. Initially skeptical, the deputy doubted Kara's account despite seeing the handcuffs still clasped to her wrist. However, upon contacting Kara's mother and witnessing her profound relief upon learning of her daughter's safety, the officer handed the phone to Kara, facilitating a heartfelt reunion between mother and daughter after their traumatic ordeal. The immediate investigation to apprehend her kidnapper commenced. Before heading to the hospital for a medical evaluation, Kara was brought back to the vicinity of her captor's residence in Columbia, South Carolina. However, due to the rapid sequence of events, neither Kara nor those accompanying her could recall the specific house. Amidst the uniformity of the apartment complex, Kara struggled to pinpoint the exact location. Fortunately, the property manager was present, providing him with a detailed description of her captor, including his pets and the long red hair observed in the bathroom, which she presumed belonged to his wife. Kara aided in the identification process. Recognizing the couple, the property manager guided them to the correct residence. Law enforcement personnel surrounded the residence of a suspected armed kidnapper. Despite repeated attempts to elicit a response from the individual, their efforts were met with silence. Utilizing the assistance of the property manager, the officers breached the door, only to find that the kidnapper had fled. Upon comparing Kara's statement with the scene inside the house, authorities verified that it was indeed the place where she had been held captive. However, their inspection of the premises yielded unexpected and disturbing findings. Richard Mark Evanitz, originally from Columbia, South Carolina, served in the Navy and was decorated with 2 medals for good conduct before his honorable discharge in 1992. Despite appearing to be an ordinary blue-collar worker to those who knew him, Kara's escape exposed his darker nature. Evanitz maintained a footlocker in his residence, which upon examination unveiled evidence suggesting Kara was not his first victim. Among the contents were photographs, videotapes, clothing items, and notes detailing planned abductions. However, it was the presence of news clippings that ultimately revealed Evanitz's status as a serial killer to law enforcement officials. In September 1996, Sofia Silva disappeared while doing her homework on her front porch. Her body was later discovered in a nearby swamp a month later. Nearly a year later, sisters Kristen and Catherine Lisk were abducted from their yard and found deceased in a river 5 days afterward. These incidents deeply unsettled the Virginia community, instilling fear in parents who dreaded the presence of a kidnapper in their midst. Despite efforts to link the crimes, the investigation yielded no leads until Kara's escape. The discovery of news clippings related to both incidents in Evanitz's locker, situated miles away from the crime scenes, prompted law enforcement to collaborate across jurisdictions. Authorities discovered Kristen Lisk's fingerprints inside Evanitz's vehicle 5 years following her demise. Additionally, fibers from the handcuffs found on Kara and the carpet in Evanitz's residence were consistent with those from other victims, conclusively linking him to at least 3 other women's abductions and deaths. The revelation of a serial killer at large intensified the search for Evanitz. His wife and mother, vacationing at Disney World during the crime, were informed. Meanwhile, law enforcement located the green Trans Am parked at his mother's residence, confirming that he had utilized his mother's vehicle for the abduction of the teenager. Subsequently, Evanitz's family appeared for questioning by the police the following day. While his wife expressed disbelief at the allegations, maintaining her belief in his character, she acknowledged the footlocker as his and recounted how he prevented her from accessing it. In contrast, Evanitz's ex-wife recounted disturbing fantasies involving abductions that he concealed from his current spouse. His sister corroborated these accounts, revealing a pattern of violent behavior instilled by their father during their upbringing. Despite his denials, Evanitz's admission to his sister during his escape further implicated him, confessing to a myriad of crimes and his whereabouts in Florida. Law enforcement swiftly dispatched officers to apprehend the suspect, but upon arrival, he had already fled. Nevertheless, Evanitz attempted to rendezvous with his sister at an IHOP in Florida on June 27, 2002. Law enforcement intervened, sparking a high-speed pursuit culminating in Evanitz crashing his vehicle. Trapped by officers and K-9 units, Evanitz chose to end his life with his own firearm. Upon learning of her captor's demise, Kara expressed disappointment, desiring justice through legal proceedings. The evidence found in Evanitz's home, including notes linking him to other similar cases, such as the death of a Baltimore student in 1996, is still under examination, with no matches identified to date. Law enforcement is also investigating whether Evanitz committed a series of attacks in the early 1990s. Surviving her own captivity, Kara provided closure to the families of Evanitz's previous victims, ensuring he would not harm another innocent woman. Yet, being a survivor proved challenging.
I think that to say you're a victim, then someone took something from you. Nothing was taken from me. I refuse to give that man that power.
But I wonder, has it changed who you are?
I will say that I am who I am because of what happened to me, but it did not make me who I am. I'm sure you can relate. Like, you obviously would not be sitting in front of me doing this job, right?
You are right.
If what had happened to you did not happen. So, I am who I am because of what happened to me, sure, but it doesn't define who I am by any means.
I think that was perfectly stated.
Thank you.
However, recognizing her courage and resilience, Richland County's Sheriff Lott mentored Kara, inspiring her to pursue a career in law enforcement. Starting with an administrative role at the same police station that aided in her case, Kara later joined the police academy, becoming a school resource officer. Although Kara initially kept her experience secret, her story eventually emerged during training, earning her recognition for bravery. Today, Kara Robinson Chamberlain is married with children, dedicated to empowering survivors like herself.